A hard knock life in Chicago. That's how we start hour number 2, live right here on this Friday on the early line on SportsGrid. He is Donny Rightside. I am Ben Stevens. 2 more hours to go to round out this week and send you into your weekend live right here on TEL. A ton of National Football League conversations coming your way up next, and something I'm very excited to discuss with my co-host DRS. That's the wide receiver market in the National Football League. A small snippet yesterday when we got the extension news around Jalen Waddle of Donny's impassioned speech about what is happening in Cincinnati with T. Higgins that I think we will dive further into in just a little bit. But 2 more hours to go. Our coach JY joins us later in this second hour to look back on the Western Conference Finals, Tyler Bell on it one final time, and then set the stage for the NBA Finals, although we have 6 days to set that stage.
Yeah, here's the problem also. It's nice that we do have the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, so that stage doesn't need to be set. But quite frankly, like wrapping it up last night, starting on the NBA Finals, Monday we'll hit the NBA Finals, Tuesday we'll hit the NBA Finals, Wednesday we'll hit the NBA Finals, Thursday we'll hit the NBA Finals, and it finally will begin at that point. It's just a shame that we have to wait that long. We should be getting going like next Tuesday, just enough time to decompress and get excited at the same time, as opposed to waiting for next week for the NBA to come back and save us there on a Thursday and give us hopefully a great performance. But it's the way it is. It's our jobs here to get you ready for the NBA Finals. And by the time it does get here, yeah, you'll be ready for it.
That is our guarantee. Every single angle, every single number for the 2024 NBA Finals between the Celtics and the Mavericks, you will know by the time we tip in game number 1, the opening night of the NBA Finals on a Thursday next week, 6 days away, inside TD Garden. But we focus now on the National Football League. The Bears not happy about it, but they will be on Hard Knocks later in the month of August. There's so many Hard Knocks variations. Maybe you are wondering which one this is. This is the original training camp with the Chicago Bears. So Caleb Williams' first training camp in his National Football League career will be in front of the cameras on HBO for all to see. The most intriguing and interesting choice. And Donnie, the way it works with Hard Knocks, the criteria for a team that has to be selected, you retain your head coach from the season prior, so not a new head man in charge, and you did not make the playoffs. So you have to be just mediocre enough to be in consideration for Hard Knocks. The 3 selections potentially this year were the Bears, the Broncos, and the Saints. The NFL gives us Chicago.
Yeah, and I'm glad they did give us Chicago, because there's a lot of fun topics to look at. New quarterback, generational kid coming to town, a revamped team with a lot of optimism heading into 2024. Those are the teams that we like to see here. Like if they would put the Saints on, I'm not even so sure it even register on the rating scale at that point. Like who's going to want to watch, hey, can Derek Carr come back and be a solid quarterback? Did you see what Taysom Hill was doing in the offseason? Like, nobody cares about that. We care about the Chicago Bears. It was a good choice by the NFL. And also, just a side point on this, Ben, I always get a kick out of this. Like, the coaches can't stand it at this point. Like, if coaches had their way, Ben, NFL games wouldn't be broadcast on TV because nobody would want to see what the actual plays would be. So I usually get a kick out of that. But from an ownership standpoint, you should love being on Hard Knocks. It's a chance to put your team in a positive light, which always gets much, much more eyeballs, particularly in your hometown, and gets everybody interested. It opens us up to the world. Like, wow, maybe the Chicago Bears, if I didn't have a favorite team, could be my favorite team. But it's a very intriguing story and a very good choice here for Hard Knocks.
Yeah, I think it's going to be fantastic. Now, Chicago was not all too pleased to go inside and take the exclusive look in the hallowed halls of Hallis Hall. It's not something they wanted for their rookie quarterback. And I get it from a perspective, Donnie. It feels a little bit intrusive. Could you consider it a distraction? I guess. There's cameras following your every move as you're trying to get ready for a National Football League season. But I don't think the notoriety is all that bad if you can shape it from a positive perspective. And frankly, the Bears should be very positive in their outlook entering 2024. Not just the generational quarterback prospect that is Caleb Williams, but a Bears team that won 5 of their final 7 games last year in the regular season, led by a great defensive effort under Matt Eberflus as he took back the reins of the defense. It's why he's back for year number 3 at the helm in the Windy City. And don't just take the Hard Knocks bump or the approach of it. The odds makers are telling you right here, right now, following a successful offseason that culminated in a great NFL draft for the Bears, Chicago is expected to have a winning record, be above 500 this year, 8.5 the win total. The over has the juice. They are favored with a minus money price to reach the postseason in the NFC. And that has always been the incredibly intriguing thing to me about the Bears. You have a rookie quarterback coming in. You use the number 1 overall pick on him, and you are expected to be a playoff team right away. Not 2-3 years down the line. Not, hey, Caleb, go out there, show us some effort. Let's try to get to 6 or 7 wins this year. You are expected to be above 500, have a winning record, and reach the playoffs.
Yes, and the bar has been reset by C.J. Stroud, which means no longer, back in the day, just going back to my Eagle days, where it was when Freddie Mitchell got drafted out of UCLA to the Eagles. But back then it was like, well, wide receiver is going to take 3 to 4 years to learn the league and how to get. No, that's since been changed. You see the wide receivers now coming in 1,500 yards for some of these top guys. The same thing we can look at for some of those players like Caleb Williams. C.J. Stroud last year was so good. We're expecting Caleb Williams to be almost equal, if not better, this season. If he is, they're going to be in the playoffs. Look at the offensive skill players that they have. This is atypical from a team that drafted number 1 overall. Now, granted, they weren't the worst team in the NFL last year. They just made a shrewd move in getting a trade. Caleb Williams, DeAndre Swift, DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, Roma Duze, and a very solid tight end in Cole Kmet. That's good enough to make the playoffs. If your offensive line holds up and you have a generational quarterback, even though he's a rookie here, how bad could it possibly be? You saw the past 2 years with Justin Fields at quarterback. That was an offense that set the NFL back 50 years in the passing game. Now you're actually going to have a competent passing game? We should have some good times here in Chicago this year.
And that's why, despite being a short favorite, now under $2 to win NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year, I actually think Caleb Williams is the correct bet. We have only seen 4 quarterbacks win this award in the last decade because oftentimes, fair or not, we tie team success, a winning record, wins and losses, to the quarterback spot. If the Bears track and follow this, and Caleb is the guy to lead them to a winning record, and the statistical performance thus then backs it up, I think he runs away with the Offensive Rookie of the Year award like we saw out of C.J. Stroud in Houston a season ago. We'll have some interesting conversations, Donny, as we get closer to 2024 in the NFL about the new kickoff rules. It really does bring back the third phase of football. Offense, defense, special teams. It's going to be great. You have to land the ball within a certain area you are kicking off, and the kick defenders, I guess you could say, cannot start their approach and running until the ball actually leaves the foot of the kicker. Dave Tope, longtime special teams coordinator under Andy Reid in Kansas City, had an interesting comment about this yesterday at Chiefs OTA, maybe placing Harrison Butker, a name that for some reason people know as a kicker around the National Football League now, with Justin Reid, who has kicked before for Kansas City, but actually plays defense and acts as a safety. You now have one more kick defender in there, getting rid of a puny kicker who shouldn't be out there in the first place.
Well, here's the point of it that, I respect what the special teams coach is trying to do because we haven't seen this rule put into place just yet. But what's the theory behind this and having Harrison Butker kick off anyway at this point? Like, you still have Harrison Butker needing to make a tackle if it's returned now. Now, I understand that you have to return it. I get it. But I just think it's one of those overblown situations. Look at, let's just outsmart everybody and put a safety in as the kicker at this point. I'm interested to see how this turns out. But the one thing I do know, this is designed to give the offense better field position and also a more exciting play, which means we're not starting every single drive at the 25-yard line. You should be 25 plus each and every time now, which is going to be great to watch. If you like team totals, bet the overs early.
One more thought about the new kickoff rules and then the wide receiver combo now. See special teams coordinator Dave Tobe making an interesting point yesterday at OTAs in Kansas City. Maybe replacing your usual kicker, Harrison Butker, losing his job. Maybe he'll figure out some other things to do for Justin Reid with the new kickoff rules in the National Football League. Now, Reid has kicked actual kickoffs and field goal attempts in regular season games for the Chiefs in times past. And Donny, you said, but if you have Butker or any other kicker out there for your team and he has to make the tackle, then you're going to be in a bad spot either way. The reason this could be different, though, is because the other defenders, the other 10 guys on the field on that kickoff defense, do not get to take off under these new kickoff rules until the ball leaves the foot of the kicker. They don't get the running start like they used to. So you'd have them already 10, 15, 20 yards in front after the kicker watches the ball sail, probably more than likely through the end zone. So if you had the kicker, who is an athlete and a safety and a defensive player like Justin Reed, kick it and then immediately start to catch up as well, he's immediately involved in any of the tackling or the defense of that kickoff return, which is very different systematically than what we were used to seeing in terms of NFL kickoffs.
Yeah, we'll be overthinking it, but I love it. I think it's a great rule because the worst play in professional sports is the kickoff in football, when 15 to 20 years ago, it was one of the more entertaining plays in sports. So something had to be done, and so many times we rag on the NFL. These rules stink. You're taking hitting out of the game. This is one of those rules that I equate to Major League Baseball when Rob Manfred stepped in and said, this game is stale as hell. Something has to happen to move the pace along. This should be able to do that. No longer just going upstairs to grab a beer and coming back knowing it's been a touchback. You might miss one of the more exciting plays of the game.
It brings back the kick returner position. Keep an eye for the Eagles on a guy like, I don't know, Cooper DeJean, who is electric with the football in his hands. Can you imagine DeJean and Will Shipley back there together? Come on now. Come on now. Man, take a look under those lids and you might be surprised.
Oh, man. I mean, the sky is the limit here in Philadelphia next year, people. Wake up. Wake up.
For sure. Listen, the New York Jets making an intriguing signing earlier this week. Tariq Cohen, former running back for the Bears, who was one of the fastest guys in the National Football League, that based on injuries hasn't played in the NFL since 2020. The Jets bringing him back, hoping to reincorporate him now with these new kickoff rules. It brings back jobs. It brings back a skilled position. And it brings back a phase of the game. That's why when Dave Tobe was talking about this, what else do you have a special teams coordinator for? This is the fun of it all. All right, DRS, now into the wide receiver deals that we have seen this offseason. Most recently, Jalen Waddle agreeing to a 3-year, $84.75 million extension yesterday with the Miami Dolphins. That's a little bit more than $28 million annually on an average salary basis. That makes Jalen Waddle the fourth highest paid receiver in the National Football League. The two guys at the top of this list, A.J. Brown for the Eagles, Amon-Ra St. Brown, signing those extensions this offseason. They are two of three wide receivers that make $30 million a year or more, joining Tyreek Hill. So the Dolphins have wide receivers highest paid 3 and 4, and the other two guys that lead all of the National Football League signed those deals this offseason. The wide receiver market is being reset. We are seeing astronomical figures, and it just follows how much money there is in the National Football League.
Yes, there's a ton of money out here, and we always see the actual salary cap is, we can't go over that. That's just owners talk between owners to get it out to the public where we don't have to spend this money. But the owners are so rich now, most of them, they're willing to give out a lot of front-end money here to keep their players happy and circumvent the salary cap. You're taking a look at a position now that's dominant. It used to be we talked about, well, you got to have defensive ends, you got to have cornerbacks, you got to have, quarterbacks, obviously. And then, yes, the wide receivers will get paid, but there's so many of them that we could just keep redrafting them. That has since changed. It is such an offensive league now that, yes, you're always going to pay your quarterback, but it seems now teams are willing to extend those wide receiver deals all the way down to number 2s and number 3s here. When in the past was, just get me a number 1 wide receiver, we'll find number 2 and number 3. But now you're seeing so many teams across the NFL paying number 2s like number 1s, and rightfully so. But even though you take a look, do we look at any of these guys, Amon-Ra St. Brown, A.J. Brown, Waddle, Smith, and Collins, and Pittman, go like, that was a massive overpay. Those guys aren't worth it. No, they're absolutely worth it. Do you watch football on a Sunday-to-Sunday basis here where these guys are dominate? They absolutely deserve to be paid. Now, there's other guys around the league that are going to come into their own, like a CeeDee Lamb. He's going to splash that account. A Jamar Chase eventually going to splash down. Justin Jefferson is going to absolutely reset the market when he goes. This is the new day and age of the NFL. No longer owners saying, I can't pay 2 or 3 wide receivers. No, you can now, and people are doing it. Teams are doing it, and they're being successful doing it as well.
Now, you might say, Jalen Waddle, fourth highest paid receiver in the National Football League at this moment. Listen, I think Waddle is great. I bet the over on his receiving yards props. He's as fast as they come, but paid as the fourth highest wide receiver in the National Football League, he's not even in the top 10 or top 15. It doesn't matter. That's just where the market is going, and it should be shared, as Jalen Waddle just completed year number 3, that the extension of 3 years on top of the final 2 years of his rookie deal, the annual average over the cumulative 5 years is not north of $28 million, making him the fourth highest paid wideout in the National Football League. But to Donnie's point, at a certain time in this summer, in this offseason, this market is going to be reset again, whether it's Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, maybe even CeeDee Lamb. Somebody is going to make damn near $35 million per year, and we are going to be astonished, and rightfully so. That's a lot of money, but it is where the wide receiver market is going. 2 to 3 years down the line, it might look like a discount to have somebody like Amon-Ra St. Brown at $30.2 million per season.
Exactly. You see A.J. Brown, 3 years, $96 million. The Eagles just gave him a monster deal to come over from Tennessee, which is the reason why he's still not in Tennessee. So these teams also are willing to say, you know what? If you're playing good, we'll keep extending you and pay you even more money. Why? Because you're worth it. Hello, Cincinnati Bengals, because they are worth it. You get it?
You got to think, if Jamar Chase is the priority and gets his contract extension first, that means the T. Higgins time in Cincy is probably done. It would look kind of weird, the disparity there. Higgins placed under the franchise tag back in March.